Hey Cruise team, welcome back. This is Coach Cruz and I'm your host Brad. And anyway, this was actually part 2 of a video that I started. And part 1, I gave you 6 things that I do on every single Carnival cruise, plus a bonus item because I realized that not everybody was in the mood to do that. So I didn't want to include it like this is something you have to do, because I know this is just like the bonus item at least was something that, you know, some people, that's just not their cup of tea. So I understand that. Now, part 2, I'm going to finish the dozen things, the Coach Cruz dozen things that I think everybody could do. And let me just say that that's assuming you drink a little bit. All right, if you're not a drinker, a couple things on my list I know have included alcohol, so it makes it difficult for you to enjoy those. But assuming you drink, and assuming you eat, and assuming you like entertainment or whatever, I'm sure to hit something on your list that I think you'll enjoy as much as I do while cruising Carnival especially. Okay, so let's talk about those right after this.
I just can't get away from a good time.
All right, so let's just jump right into it. Okay, number 1, or I guess you could say number 7 of the dozen things that I suggest just about everybody will enjoy on Carnival, and what I do on every single Carnival cruise. So we'll say this is number 7 here, but that is the sea day brunch. All right, now as is in the title there, sea day brunch, that is served only on sea days. All right, so let's say you board the ship on a Saturday, and sometimes there'll be 1 or 2 sea days before you hit your first port. So if it's, you know, let's say Sunday, it's a sea day, and Monday is a sea day. So those first 2 days could be sea days. Sometimes they flip it though, and it only takes you, 1 full sea day to get to your first port, and then on the way back, you'll take 2 sea days. But on most 7-day cruises, you're probably gonna have 3 sea days. Now, take advantage of this. And here's the thing, you have a large window in which to do so, because they open up early in the main dining room, and they're open until, believe it's 1 p.m. that they close. So, I mean, as long as you get there by, say, noon, you're probably going to be fine and be able to enjoy your meal and everything else like that. And here's the thing, it's a very lengthy menu. I promise there will be something on that menu that sounds good. And as a matter of fact, there's probably going to be several things that you're going to say like, okay, next sea day brunch, when I come back, I'm going to try this and I'm going to try that. Because there's honestly just too many things. Like, I mean, I guess if you're going to try just a bite here and a bite there and you order multiple things, you can do it that way. But if you're going to actually eat the entire entree, there's too many entrees on there that, are going to just be too good, that you're going to have to come back. You're going to have to do multiple sea day brunches to enjoy it all. Now, a couple favorites of mine, the typical filet mignon and eggs. Get my eggs over medium, filet mignon medium rare, and I've been very pleased almost every time in the steak. Almost every time it comes out medium rare. There has been a couple times where my eggs have come out too hard and I had to send them back, but the steak is usually always on point. Just really good. Another thing I've just recently really started enjoying, because I didn't order it until just recently, but the salmon superfood salad. It has not a really big piece of salmon, but just, I don't know what kind of glaze or something or seasoning that they put on it, but it's just very, very tasty. And then, the superfoods that they put along with it, and lettuces and things like that, it's just great. It's just a great combination. So the combination of that salad along with my steak, it's just great. Now, dessert, we can't miss that, right? 2 of the main things that they have available for dessert on sea days are banana cream pie, which forever that was like my go-to, and that would be the only thing that I would order. But recently I was like, hey, you know what, let's order them both. Actually there's a third thing too, but They have a 7-layer chocolate cake, and I got that, and it wasn't too rich. It was great, and the banana cream pie was great. Now, I always say this too, from ship to ship, from cruise to cruise even, the food is going to vary. I've been on some Carnival cruises, we're in the main dining room, and it was like, a few good things, but just wasn't blown away by the food. Then I've been on other Carnival cruises where I was just very happy, throughout the entire week with the quality of food and how good it tastes and everything else like that. So it really varies, but chances are you're going to go on a cruise and, maybe not every meal, but you're going to enjoy a lot of meals and a lot of the food that you get served, okay? Now, number 2 is a pretty simple one, but it's something that I do on every cruise. And if you're a coffee drinker like me, you probably will too, especially if you have the Cheers package. But even if you don't have the Cheers package, honestly, for me, it's worth the $3 or $3.50 or whatever it is that they charge. But you can get some gourmet coffee at the Java Blue Cafe. I start almost every morning off. I get up, and usually before I go to the fitness center or anywhere else, I go down and I get my coffee. And then since I have the Cheers package and I can drink 6 coffees if I want to, a lot of times I'll just sit right off to the edge or go somewhere close to water and drink that first cup and then go back for a second. And it's just, like I said, they grind the beans, everything. It's just right there. It's like going to Starbucks or any of your other cafes, and they will make it just the way you want it, and they do a phenomenal job. Not to mention, as most crew workers or crew staff, almost all the people that I've encountered at the Java Blue Cafe across multiple ships, just been wonderful. Just very pleasant. They remember your name. It's just a great way to start your morning. So Java Blue Cafe. Now, a couple other reasons. So Java Blue is open late also. So in combination with the Alchemy Bar, and not everybody, I'm surprised how many people didn't know about this. I know the Alchemy fans out there definitely know this. But if you go to the Java Blue Cafe and get a double espresso, you take that double espresso to the Alchemy Bar and you say, I would like an espresso martini. With that double espresso, they can actually make 2 martinis. So if you're with somebody and you don't have the Cheers package or something like that, you could get 1 double espresso and go get 2 martinis from that. And obviously, if you don't have the Cheers package, you're going to be paying for all those drinks. But I'm telling you, if you're going to get 1 drink, it is just well balanced, not too sweet. Just it's great. It's phenomenal. It's one of my favorite drinks that they make at Alchemy. But it's a 2-part process, right? You go to Java Blue, get your espresso, and then you take it to Alchemy, and they'll make your espresso martini. You can thank me for it later if you've never tried one. Okay, and then finally, the Java Blue Cafe. Sometimes I'll go to the MDR or wherever it is that, I'm eating dinner that day. Like I said, sometimes it could be the deli. I don't know. But if there's something that's just doesn't sound good or I don't want, but I want a dessert, well, the Java Blue Cafe makes milkshakes. And here's another thing. If you're on the Cheers package, these milkshakes are free, okay, or included or covered under the Cheers package. Now, they also make spiked milkshakes, and they have this particular one that they put bourbon in, and I get a combination of vanilla and chocolate ice cream along with the bourbon, and it's just awesome. It's just a fabulous dessert. I have that as my dessert when I don't like what they might have in the MDR that particular evening or wherever it is, like I said, that I'm having dinner, and it's great. So the Java Blue, that's Java Blue Cafe. That's something, again, every single cruise. Now, number 3. I was just talking about the MDR, main dining room, and I do go to the main dining room every single cruise, but number 3 is main dining room on the first elegant night. On 6 and 7 day cruises, the first elegant night is usually that first day in the evening at sea. Okay, so let's say you board on a Saturday, usually, so Sunday night would be, when they have the first elegant night. Or if you start your cruise on a Sunday, then Monday night would usually be the first elegant night. Now, on these elegant nights, aside from having to dress up a little bit, and that's really honestly all it is. And some people just dress up a little bit, which is fine, to suit yourself, whatever. Some people actually get really upset if you're not all dressed up. To me, it doesn't bother. I try to dress up a little bit to accommodate everybody, but it's really not that big a deal to me. But on the first elegant night, the thing that is a big deal to me is the menu. Okay, on the menu on the first elegant night, they're offering you surf and turf. So the lobster tails, you can get as many lobster tails as you can eat. All right, you can order the lobster as your main entree and eat it up and say, hey, I would like another one, or I would like 2 more lobster tails. And usually the wait staff is pretty accommodating. They'll give you that first lobster tail with whatever sides, come along with it. But then I've seen many times where they've just brought the extra tails, or even, had 2 tails to start or something like that. But you can eat as many as you want. You can get a steak along with it. If it's prime rib that they're serving, I've done prime rib and a lobster tail. And then sometimes I ate the lobster tail and the prime rib and said, hey, give me another lobster tail. And they will. So that's something I'm not going to miss, because guess what? It's included in your cruise fare. It's free. If you go to the Steakhouse and you pay, and granted, it's going to be higher quality for your steak and your lobster, you're going to have to pay $42 a person for that. But on the first elegant night, it's included in your cruise fare, and you can eat as much as you want. Okay, go to the Steakhouse and say, I want an extra lobster tail. They're going to say no, probably. Okay, so that's one thing that I never miss. Now, since I just mentioned it, number 4 for part 2 is actually, let's see, number 10 actually overall is the Steakhouse. Okay, so the Steakhouse is something Anita and I especially, but even if I'm going with a friend, I don't miss the Steakhouse. I'm going to go at least once. All right, the quality of the meal for the price that you pay is one of the greatest values at sea. Now, another thing that Chicago is famous for is their steakhouses. They have some phenomenal steakhouses. And when I go to the Carnival Steakhouse, the quality of the meat in comparison, not all the time. I mean, but think about this for a second. You go to a Chicago Steakhouse, for one person to get the sides that they give you, the quality of sides that they give you, dessert, everything, your steak, all that included, you can easily spend $150 a person. So, you're looking potentially to go to a good steakhouse in Chicago, about $300 meal. All right. Now, take that to Carnival, who just upped their price to $42 per person. So that's $84. $84 for 2 people. And, you're going to get 2 appetizers. So these appetizers, could be a variety of different things. Lobster bisque has traditionally been one of our go-to appetizers, and it's usually phenomenal. Well, I don't know a time that it's been bad, but it's just sometimes it's more awesome than the other time, basically. Another thing Anita has really gotten into, and she's even gotten me into it, is the bone marrow. All right, that is phenomenal. Bone marrow along with tartare or something like that, but it's really good. She's also very fond of the mushroom risotto. They have some smoked oysters that are also included in the appetizers. What else? They have pork belly. There's just a number of phenomenal appetizers that you get, and you get 2. You get 2. And then also there's a chef's, complimentary chef's appetizer that they give you, and that varies the day that you actually go to the steakhouse, but that comes with it as well. Now, when you get your steak, you can have a number of sides that include mashed potato, vegetables, macaroni and cheese. There's several sides. You can get as many of those sides as you like. That's included along with your steak. And then for dessert, they do some, amazing things. But one of the favorites that a lot of people get is the cheesecake. And the cheesecake is like as big as my head. And I have a very large head, if you haven't noticed. No, but seriously, the cheesecake, the slice is massive. You could easily share that slice of cheesecake and be happy, or you can each have your own slice of cheesecake if you both like cheesecake. And they have a variety of other desserts. And then one thing, for couples, and I think, two people have to do this. Not one person can say you want this art at the table, but if a couple goes, you can do this thing that they call art at the table, where a chef will come out from, the kitchen, and they will put a big, white board on your table, and they will proceed to, do a bunch of designs and stuff with a bunch of flavors. And, in the end, they put some white chocolate that has a bunch of ice cream within a bowl. They crack the white chocolate, and then you get just access to the ice cream, and then, scrape that with some of the flavors that they put all over the board there. And it's a little show that you get, and, it's included. It's all included in the meal. So aside from the meal just being fabulous and being an experience, it's something, like I said, that we're going to do at least one time every cruise. That's something I do not miss on every Carnival cruise, and if you've never done it, I highly suggest it. Okay, and what will be number 11 of our list of 12 things that I do on every cruise is the Alchemy Bar. Okay, the Alchemy Bar for sure is one of the favorite. As a matter of fact, these are listed in not any specific order, but I will tell you, if I had to list them in an order of, what's top on the list, Alchemy would be very, very close to the top, if not number one overall. All right. Now, the Alchemy Bar, for those of you who haven't been, is like a martini bar. I mean, they make more than just martinis, but they don't have beer, so if you go up asking for a beer, they'll be like, yeah, not this bar. And they do have, pop for like Jack and Cokes and stuff, but, they don't really have that. They can make some non-alcoholic beverages, and they do a very good job at that as well, but it's not, the traditional bar. But what they do is it's like a performance. Every drink is like a little work of art in itself, because they're putting like 5 different ingredients in a lot of drinks, and it takes a while. It takes a while to make these drinks. It's not like they're just pouring a couple shots and squirting something in there and then there's your drink. Every drink they're putting love and care into. And I mean, they have a wide menu, and if there's something you can't find on that menu, you can tell them what type of taste you have, and they will create something for you based on what you told them. I've gone to them and I've tried to stump them a few times, and I've said, okay, I want an orange creamsicle, with alcohol. And I'll be darned if they didn't get me a drink that tastes like a creamsicle that had out. It was wonderful. So I mean, they're magicians behind the bar. They really know what they're doing. And not to mention, a lot of the people that frequent the Alchemy Bar are very easy to talk to and a lot of fun. That's, like I said, I've spent a lot of evenings and several hours at the Alchemy Bar, and just had a great time. With new friends. Maybe some of them we met at the bar crawl, maybe some of them we met there at Alchemy, but yeah, it's a great time, the Alchemy Bar. So if you haven't been and you're a new cruiser to Carnival, definitely go check out the Alchemy Bar. I bet you'll probably have a good time, and you will have an amazing drink if you're a drinker. Okay, and then finally, this is number 12, and this is going to be kind of like a Zen moment, a peaceful thing that I do. I mean, obviously, when I go on cruises, I'm going to party, I'm going to have a good time, I'm going to enjoy myself. Notice I haven't said much about, I didn't say anything about the Serenity deck, which I know some people just like to relax and just lay out and just, kind of rest. And I can appreciate that fully. I really can. But I don't do a lot of that when I go on a cruise. One thing I do though, is I do take time for it. And when I want to go relax and just kind of enjoy the cruise and the surroundings, when it's a quiet morning or a quiet evening, I will grab a drink. I go to the back of the ship, preferably where there's nobody around, and I just look at the wake. I listen to the water crashing, have a sip of my drink. Maybe the sun's going down, and it's just wonderful. And I do that every single cruise. I go to the back of the ship and I just watch the wake disappear off in the distance as I listen to the waves crashing against the ship, and just, you know, enjoy the beautiful weather, enjoy inhaling that ocean air, enjoy whatever beverage I have in my hand. And yeah, that's something I do every cruise. I don't want to forget that I'm on a cruise, and just soak it all in. So that's my 12th thing. Now, my bonus item, all right, the reason this isn't included in my list, it's something I do every cruise if it's available to me. This one is not available to me every cruise, and that is a Bloody Mary. And I might be saying, like, wait a minute, you can get a Bloody Mary on every cruise. You know, any bar for that matter, you can probably get a Bloody Mary. Okay, I'm talking about a Bloody Mary from Guy's Pig and Anchor. All right, so Guy's Pig and Anchor was introduced on the Carnival ships with the Horizon. All right, and then it went to the Panorama, and the Mardi Gras has it now, and soon the Celebration will have Guy's Pig and Anchor. But what they do is they have a whole big bunch of veggies, and they put in this giant container filled with Tito's vodka, and that Tito's vodka just marinates with all those veggies and stuff. And you know, that's where they get, you know, the base for their Bloody Mary. And their Bloody Mary mix, I forget what all goes into that, but I mean, it's like a little meal. And to top their meal off, in addition to the celery and the olives and all that other stuff that goes in your Bloody Mary, they top it off with bacon. Okay, guys, not just any bacon, but Guy's Pig and Anchor bacon. So, I mean, you have a Bloody Mary that is made with Tito's and infused with all those amazing veggies for, you know, a week at a time. And then, not to mention some of the best bartenders at sea making your Bloody Mary. When I'm on a ship that has it, you know, right after I finish my coffee, you know, the first drink I'm going to get is probably going to be a Bloody Mary. And sometimes I might just skip the coffee. So it's that good. Now, that is all I have for you. I thought I was bad on the first video. The first video took 16 plus minutes or whatever. I'm looking at the time. This one's already 21 minutes. So I apologize, and that's not even counting the intro. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it all the way through, then hey, I guess you liked the video enough, right? And if you did, if you enjoyed it, I hope if you're not already a subscriber, you'll minimize me if you're on the phone and just have that little block up there, and right in the left below this screen is going to be that like button and that subscribe button, and click that and join the cruise team. In addition to being a subscriber on YouTube, we have a very large page now. It's growing very quickly, but the Coach Cruise Facebook page. If you go on Facebook, enter in the search bar Coach Cruise, you will see myself along with my lovely wife Anita. And yeah, we'll be there, and we will welcome you, and you can communicate easily with me on that page. I try to communicate with anybody that has a question for me. I'll answer directly. And the whole cruise team is a lot of fun, sharing great pictures from their cruises, talking cruising. So if you're an avid cruiser like myself and the rest of the cruise team, please join us. And even if you're a new cruiser, I have several people that, you know, that joined that are saying, we're going on our first cruise, and, you know, they came to the page to, you know, kind of learn some new tips and tricks for their cruise. And that's a great thing to do. One of the best things that you can do is learn from the people that have gone before you, right? So that's about all I have, except one last little thing. This is coming out on May 14, 15, something like that, 2022. So if you're watching this after that, don't worry about it. But if you watch this right out of the gates, May 17th, Tuesday, 7 p.m., and it might be every Tuesday after that. We'll see how it goes. But from 7 to 8 p.m. Central, we are going to have our very first live show on the Coach Cruise channel ever. And what I always say is, get in on the ground floor. Be part of that first show. Be part of Coach Cruise history, right? Be there when it started. Now, and again, for those of you that aren't subscribers yet, we haven't hit 1,000. We haven't hit 1,000. We're getting close. We're getting really close. But you've probably, seen some other channels and things like that, and they started at this point, once also, and then they grew and, really big. So, so maybe you can say, hey, I was with Coach Cruz before he even hit his first 1,000, and now look where he is a few years down the road. Hopefully, I'll learn and get better. So that's all I have for you again, and sorry I dragged on a little bit, but we'll talk to you soon, Cruise Team. Have a great day.
I just can't get away from a good time.